Infinity Kingdom, welcome back, and to those of you just discovering my channel, this is Magic Mage from server 243. In Greek mythology, Ariadne supplied Theseus with a ball of thread, so he could use it to find his way out of her father Mino's labyrinth. This origin story gave rise to the use of clue, C-L-E-W, a ball of yarn or anything that could guide a person through a difficult place. This is where our modern clue, C-L-U-E, evolved from. Today, we will not be tying off a ball of string to traverse into the familiar but new maze of our anticipated Frostborne War updates announced within the preview of our patch notes 2.7.0. However, I do hope to provide you all with a clue, C-L-E-W, as we look closer at the clues, C-L-U-E-S, provided within the release notes. So come gaze into a crystal ball with me as we try to unlock the hidden mysteries of changes to come. The patch notes announced on June 20th, 2024 are released within our game on June 27th, 2024. If you wish to read the patch notes for yourself, they are available in 7 different languages, and you can review them in the language you are most comfortable with. I have disclosed within the comments section links where you can find these patch notes in the 7 different languages for your convenience. Our developers are encouraging us to leave suggestions, opinions, and questions in the comment section. I would encourage you all to do this. They are indicating they are listening to the community, so make sure your voice is heard and considered. You may also leave comments on our official Infinity Kingdom Facebook page. They are supplying a chance for rewards should you choose to leave your thoughtful comments within our Infinity Kingdom Facebook page with your game ID. Before we delve into the clues and hints supplied within the announcements, let's quickly pause for an overview of what you can expect to have covered within this video. So pull out your magnifying glass as we prepare to hunt through our patch notes for those treasured clues. We will start by closely looking at the Frostborne Wars and the story's origins, which inspired this unique 45-day adventure. I find understanding where the story begins helps us understand how the story will unfold and evolve. Once we have our foundation, we will spend the majority of our time looking at the new Legion of Frostborne updates. I feel this aspect of the recent announcement has the most significant amount of changes announced within the release. We will also spend our time looking at this one aspect of the patch notes here because I am getting the most questions from members regarding this one aspect and what they should expect. Additionally, this element of the patch notes deserves our time and attention because KVK was highlighted by our members and the community as a key concept they wished our representatives to bring forth as a topic of interest during the recent roundtable discussions with the developers. Lastly, a majority of our focus will look at this element of change because KVK will potentially impact our overall approach to the future game. KVK has become an integral part of our community, and this game deserves the time it requires to pull back the layers and really see what we might be able to expect together. We will end the video with closing thoughts, as this video will provide an overview in order of our upcoming patch notes announced for release. Feel free to follow along with the patch notes in your native language. Our story begins with a legend which occurred in a time before time, where 2 gods, one who controlled the light and the other who controlled the dark, lived in harmony. This is, of course, until another came along and challenged the light's dominance, which was foreseen as superior. Unable to slay this individual, she was imprisoned and heavily guarded. Years later, a beloved land Norham was created, but unstable, as the 3 goddesses who developed our world defeated the one who fought the darkness, but they were unable to take her life. To stabilize the newborn continent, the goddesses poured their own life source to create energy stones. However, the villain of our story escaped again and hid in the north of the continent, and the goddesses built a wall to trap her there within the frozen realms, the coldest land of Norham. It is here our story of Frostborne Wars begin.
Harrowed Ice War separates the human world from the gnomes' territory. Beneath the howling blizzard is the cruel moth. In the frozen land, deadly ambushes are hidden in the heavy fog.
We pause here to look at some of the things which remain unchanged. Our patch notes preview advises Lords that attack rules of engagement remain unchanged within the fog. Therefore, all movements remain shrouded in darkness as a result of an ancient and evil power, where we cannot see other Lords' territories, troops, or relocation sites.
Distraction awaits anyone who dares to come. A great conspiracy is brewing here.
As Lords gather in preparation to fight off gnomes and enemy factions, rest assured attack rules for thermal towers, cities, and checkpoints also remain unchanged according to our updated patch notes to 0.7.0.
The gnomes and fortifications are in full swing. Their plots reach deep into the heart of the earth. But now, the rising humans are ready to strike. A vast army will put an end to the gnomes and illusions.
As the human legion was on a verge of discovering Gulveg's lair, the evil villain who challenged the light and was banished by the three goddesses to the frozen north behind Harold's wall. In preparation for the final showdown, a dark conspiracy unfolded. Hidden deep within the continent, the dark alchemist activated a powerful, long-dormant ritual, summoning an unprecedented blizzard. The human legion's attack was thrown in complete disarray. The once brave soldiers found themselves helpless in the raging storm, scattered in all directions, their morale shattered, and their lines broken. Amidst this chaos, 4 children of fate emerged, drawn by the call of the goddess's messengers. To their respective altars, these altars hidden within the storms, volcanoes, caves, and oceans, were sacred relics left by the god of creation. Around these altars, people felt the power of different elements, which rekindled their faith in the gods of creation. Under the relentless blizzard, they received divine grace and were chosen as leaders of their respective factions. These 4 boys, now leaders of their factions, guided their followers on a new journey. In the name of faith, they stood firm against the evil forces of the Dark Alchemist, vowing to uphold the will of the God of creation. In the heart of the blizzard, 4 great factions were born. Each drew strength from their elemental powers, embarking on a quest to uncover the truth and conquer darkness. This was a prelude to a battle of destiny, where under the guidance of the God of creation, humanity's fate would take a new turn. So you may be wondering what these 4 factions look like. To ensure fairness of groupings across different strength levels within the conquest seasons, servers will be matched against opponents based on a variety of factors, such as Lord power, historical battle performance, Lord activity, and past participation in the Legion of Frostborns. Once these initial server matchings have occurred, faction assignments will follow. The factions are designed with the idea of optimizing teamwork. Within the first 48 hours following the matching of servers, the top 8 alliances with overall power within the same division will automatically be assigned a faction. All other alliances' spawn areas will be decided based on the alliance leaders. The alliance leaders' decisions will determine the faction where the lords of their alliance will enter the frozen realm. 24 hours before the battle begins, the system will lock the alliance faction's choice. Again, 24 hours before the battles begin, your choices are locked in. Lords of the alliance will be marked with the same faction mark as our alliance. The system will automatically choose a faction for the alliances who have remained undecided after 24 hours. As with all rules, there are exceptions. Alliances become ranked at level 4 or higher and qualifies to enter the Frozen Realm. After the battlefields open, the alliance leader of those alliances can choose a faction they wish to join. If one is not chosen, the system will automatically choose a faction for them. Following, lords who also reach level 15 and join an alliance after the battlefield opens will directly be marked with the same faction mark as the alliance they are joining. Once faction assignments can be elected, server migration is restricted until the end of the war. Therefore, if you wish to change your server, I would highly encourage you to think about doing this before the initial matchings have occurred. Why then? Well, the top 8 alliances following the matching process is automatically assigned a faction. Therefore, if you're in one of these top alliances, you'll not be able to migrate. To prevent that from happening, you want to make sure you're migrating prior to the initial assignments and matching. Your alliance and in turn alliance leaders will want to choose carefully when selecting your faction. Only alliances of the same faction can form a federation. A federation is limited to 4 alliances within a faction. The alliance leader can establish a federation by consuming gems. This is where some strategy may need to come into play, especially if an alliance leader is free to play and hoards their gems to grow and develop on their own. Therefore, an alliance may need to entrust the leadership role to a sponsoring whale who is able to purchase the option to establish a federation if they do not wish to join one already created. The federation leadership can be transferred after. However, I am unsure if this transfer is between another alliance leader within the federation or to another member within an alliance who then assumes the leadership role of R6. The cost to establish a federation is also elusive within our patch note preview. However, I am assuming it will be similar to a lord who wishes to create their own alliance, which also costs gems within our normal realm. But once created, a leader can then hand over the leadership role to other lords. As the top 8 strongest alliances are assigned a faction, I'm assuming each Frostborne battle will be comprised of 8 factions. And within each of these factions, a federation of 4 or less alliances can be generated. What I am unsure about is how many alliances each Frostborne War will be comprised of, and if there will be multiple federations within a faction. This we will have to wait together and see once the battles begin. The Federation system will replace friendly alliances whom you partnered with to utilize thermal towers to aid in conquering a victory within our Legacy Frostborne map. However, as the next chapter in our origin story alludes, ties are broken and armies are set adrift, and directions within the fog forged in darkness. The new Federation system has been designed to play a more diplomatic role. I can see how this will allow the game to ensure engagement across all alliances without multiple farms or monopolies of power winning the game in one day. However, with change also resides familiarity. Our hostile alliance settings will remain unchanged. Remember, alliances joining the same federation must belong to the same faction. As with all governments, federations come with rules. At this point, we are aware of 5 different rules. The first is, alliances of the same federation can attack cities and checkpoints. Additionally, those of the same federation can together garrison cities, garrison checkpoints, garrison thermal towers, donate to a garrison, participate in rallies, defend players within the federation, and attack players from other federations together. The second rule tells us we are unable to attack players belonging to the same federation, or thermal towers of alliances belonging to the same federation. This will really cut back on honor farming and encourage players to engage in battle with opposing forces should they wish to seek those valuable honor points. We move on to our third rule, where checkpoints between federations can be interconnected and city buffs as well as city specialties are shared. All Federation players participating in a siege can obtain the city's first occupation rewards. I'm assuming because so many can participate in a siege for rewards that garrisons and wall fortifications will be either harder or there will be more of them to allow players a chance to attack. This would be great as long as they are balancing based off the overall participants entering the battlefield and the overall power of those participants. This will allow both larger and smaller bracket servers to enjoy the new game. I am excited that all lords of the same group receives rewards because this promotes unity. However, it can also promote laziness as many may depend on others to play the game and reap the rewards for them. Additionally, I can see within the global community where this could also be challenging to coordinate all alliances' times and the potential communication barriers if other alliances within the faction are unable to communicate in the same language. This really will encourage teamwork across the entire community. I am looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. Our fourth rule requires alliances in the same federation to play nicely in the sandbox together and prearrange and communicate with their members who will be taking the city or checkpoint. This is important because the city or checkpoint will belong to the alliance who defeats the last troop of the city's garrison. The fifth and final federation rule tells us the city's first occupation points are distributed to the alliance in accordance to the percentage of their damage dealt. I do not particularly love this aspect because we all know different types of troops can perform different levels of damage. For instance, a full earth march with Himiko would do a lot more damage on walls and garrisons than particularly a lightning march. But a lightning march may also be taking on more troop deaths and wounded soldiers. While I can see the value of the alliance who does the most damage getting the greatest rewards, I can also see potential disagreements regarding who is in the front line and back line in preparation for occupied cities. The rule continues to advise us that a city's continuous occupation points belongs to the alliance who owns the city. There are two changes of which I find particularly interesting regarding checkpoints. The first is the introduction of faction checkpoints. With regards to checkpoints, we are told the sacred relics of the four factions contain powerful, mysterious forces protecting the human soldiers in turmoil. Natural faction checkpoints have emerged to aid us in this quest. Note, these checkpoints can only be attacked and occupied by alliances aligned with the corresponding factions. The second aspect to checkpoints we are informed of is the ice wall checkpoints in each faction area that can only be occupied by alliances of that faction. I'm assuming this ensures we have safe zones for every faction. Similar to our merchant ship, the introduction of an unpredictable weather system will add an element of challenge to our game. Additionally, the weather in each province may vary. Lords can check the current weather of each province in the Frozen Realm through a weather panel, and the system will even forecast for us the next day's weather in advance. We will want to ensure not only that we are monitoring when cities and checkpoints can be captured, but how the weather may impact when the best time for this to occur. Furthermore, we will want to look at the weather for province we are looking to invade. Factions and alliances will need to develop plans to utilize the weather to their advantage, ensuring the greatest chance of success. I am hoping that with this change, it will allow for a shift in times for events to better suit our global community, and events will not all be dictated by when the Chronicles open, as it had in the past at 0 UTC. Weather types are broken into 3 categories: normal weather, abnormal weather, and special weather. Abnormal and special weather will have various impacts on the battlefield. I am assuming special weather will provide us with benefits, while abnormal weather may result in some disadvantages. The specific impacts we are all advised can be confirmed on the weather panel. From the information supplied within our Infinity Kingdom Facebook page, patch notes, and the Developer Roundtable, it appears this weather report is 100% more accurate than my local meteorologist. Alliances are provided the opportunity to activate both basic tactics and special tactics within our new Frostborne Wars. Special tactics are more powerful, but similar in the type to our basic tactics. When used properly, these tactics will change the course of the battlefield. Please take note that the activation of special tactics are limited and each activation costs a large amount of tactical points. At present, we are only provided with tactics and tactical points for one set of tactics in 3 different categories. The ability to have basic tactics and special tactics will allow for new strategies to evolve. While the Legion of Frostborne battles have become more challenging within Conquest servers, our developers have promised the rewards have become also more lucrative. In the new Legion of Frostborne Wars, victory will be determined on 3 tiers: Personal Legion Marks, Alliance Reputation, and Faction Reputation, with rewards distributed accordingly. The first level of rewards one can obtain is Personal Legions Marks. Personal Legions Marks are obtained through earning honor, gathering resources, and defeating gnomes, among other additional personal contributions to aid your alliance and faction. Make sure you are taking advantage of all opportunities, such as attacking cities, checkpoints, garrisoning cities, garrisoning checkpoints, attacking opponents for honor, in addition to protecting and constructing thermal towers. Activity and involvement are key, and hopefully your adventure brings joy and a new sense of fun and purpose as you engage in these wars. The 3-tiered reward system builds upon prior tiers. The second type of rewards one can earn is Alliance Reputation. Alliance Reputation is comprised of 2 parts. The first is cumulative personal Legion marks of Alliance members. When Lords earn their personal Legion marks, they are automatically converted to Alliance Reputation. The second part of Alliance Reputation is City's continuous occupation points earned by the Alliance. Remember, City's continuous occupation points belongs to the Alliance that owns the city. That means the Alliance that took that last garrison at the end of the battle will own the continuous occupational points within the Legion of Frostborne, and Cold Silver will be distributed based off of Alliance points. Lastly, the third tier of points is Faction Reputation. The total reputation of all alliances within the faction will contribute to the faction reputation. So what does this mean for you? Similar to how our Frostborne War ends today, when an alliance occupies the gnome capital for over 24 hours or reaches the time limit for the season, the Frostborne Legion ends. While the Frozen Realm battlefield is fraught with peril, each accumulated Legion marks will convert into substantial rewards. Please note, rewards are based on alliance performance. The alliance with the highest faction reputation can draw from the Divine Prophecy, guaranteed to obtain the Holy Immortal, Manco Capac, or Himiko after 20 draws. The alliance with the second highest faction reputation can draw from the Divine Will, guaranteed to obtain Theodora or Tumorous after 20 draws. Lastly, the third alliance and all other factions can obtain a random Holy Shadow Immortal after 20 draws. Remember, as you are marked for your faction and can only join an alliance of that faction, I am under the impression you will not be able to move into another alliance for greater rewards to unlock some of these bigger treasure boxes. I feel it will be similar as today when we migrate from one server to another and the winners of the servers change. Within KVK, you are unable to obtain the winning rewards, but rewards are based off of historical performance. We will also see something similar to this when someone migrates within the Throne of Supreme to a different server bracket, and their Throne of Supreme will remain with the one they started with. At the end of the Frostborne battles, we will know more about this together, but I would plan accordingly just in case. I am excited about the possibility to obtain some of the more expensive Holy and Shadow Immortals for free through the Frostborne Wars and KVK prizes. I see this as advantageous for those free-to-play members looking to slowly build some of these immortals and to add them to their march so they can compete with our game as it develops. While Himiko is an extremely versatile and powerful immortal that fits in many marches, I am unsure how I feel about her being the immortal for the first place treasure box. I find this an interesting choice as she is one of the 3 shadow immortals easier to obtain in the earlier game, and I am unsure if she'll be needed by some of our established Conquest players. The developers have promised to help us acclimate to our new Frozen Battlefield. A limited time event based on the progress of the Legion of Frostborne will be released, including event rewards, resource supplies, special buffs, and more. They advise that more information regarding this event will be disclosed prior to the event's start, so keep your eyes peeled. After having reviewed the information available regarding our new Frostborne Wars approaching, I leave you with some closing thoughts. To traverse into this treacherous frozen realm, it will be difficult to make progress by fighting alone. With the new Frostborne War updates, it is evident establishing and maintaining diplomatic relationships is crucial for the survival and expansion of an alliance. While all factions are on equal footing, we will want to pay attention to faction marks and checkpoints as we proceed forward with those illustrious rewards. Some key takeaways are the new Frostborne Wars are more aligned to individual alliances and not servers. Personal performance will impact that of your alliance, which in turn will impact your Federation rewards, which will hopefully get you the greatest rewards and biggest treasure chest at the end of the game. This means rewards on servers may be different, and you might even be facing another alliance on your server. This is because rewards are tied to your individual factions and alliance, and the faction is also tied to the Lord for the event. I am unsure, but because of this aspect and not being able to change alliances outside of your faction, I am assuming rewards for Lords will be limited to individual factions and alliances as well. Introductions to new elements will make our battles more challenging, but also interesting, and new strategies I'm anticipating will emerge because of the weather patterns, factions, federations, and new checkpoints. I hope this video provided you with some helpful clues as you begin to explore the updated Frostborne War battles content released within the July 27th, 2024 patch notes. I wish you all the best as you continue to grow and develop your accounts. Please remember, if you liked this video, to subscribe to my channel and ensure you don't miss any future content. Until next time, this is Magic Mage from Server 243, wishing you all a wonderful day.